Have you ever stopped to think about the hidden numbers, the secret stats that are running your life right now? We're about to pull back the curtain on all of it, from things your body does without you even noticing to some pretty weird facts about the world. Let's dig into the incredible numbers hidden in your everyday life.
So you think your day is just ordinary? Well, I'm here to tell you to think again. Underneath it all, your body and your brain are pulling off some seriously amazing stuff, like a constant marathon of incredible feats. We're going to look at the actual numbers behind that magic. All right, first up, your body's secret superpowers. We're talking about the mind-boggling stuff you can't even control. Let's start with the machine you're literally living in right now, your own body. It's doing some truly wild things every single second, and the best part? It's all on autopilot.
Okay, so let's kick things off with something you are doing this very second. And no, I'm not talking about breathing, though you're doing that too. This is something your eyes are doing over and over and over again. Get this, 28,800. That is how many times on average you blink every single day. That's like what, 20 times a minute? You've probably already blinked a few times just listening to me say this. Kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Okay, so blinking happens all the time, but some of our body's other automatic functions, well, they're surprisingly powerful. I mean, think about that sudden, explosive thing that happens when a little bit of dust flies up your nose. That's right, a sneeze. It can rocket out of you at up to 100 miles an hour. That's about 160 kilometers per hour. It's like having a tiny biological supercar in your face. And it unleashes over 100,000 germs while it's at it. Just wow. All right, let's travel down from your face to your feet. They do a whole lot more than just carry you around all day. Turns out they're also really productive in maybe a slightly gross way. Believe it or not, every day, your 2 feet can sweat up to a full pint. That's almost half a liter of sweat. Kind of makes you appreciate your socks a little more, doesn't it? They're doing some heavy lifting down there. So what about when you're not awake, when your body is totally at rest? Well, it's still busy. In fact, over your entire lifetime, you'll spend an average of 6 years, 6 full years, just dreaming. Imagine that. 6 years spent in worlds that your own mind cooks up from scratch. Okay, let's switch gears. We've talked about the body's hardware. Now let's get into its amazing software, the brain. This thing is constantly working behind the scenes, filtering reality, figuring things out, and even inheriting information in ways that are just going to blow your mind. Here's a fun one. You are always looking at your nose. Right now. It's right there in your field of vision. But your brain just chooses to ignore it. You don't even notice it until someone, well, like me, points it out. It's a perfect example of how your brain is constantly editing your reality, just filtering out the unimportant stuff so you can focus. I mean, think about that. Ever been terrified of spiders or heights for no good reason? You've never had a bad experience, but the fear is real? Well, research suggests that some of these phobias might actually be a kind of genetic memory, passed down from your ancestors who had very, very good reasons to be scared of those things. Your gut feelings might just be ancient history talking. Okay, here's a simple one that's actually pretty fascinating. Only about 10% of people on Earth are left-handed. That's it. So if you're a lefty, you're in a pretty exclusive club, trying to make your way in a world that's mostly built for the other 90% of us. And if you thought that was an exclusive club, get a load of this. Only 5% of adults talk in their sleep. Just 5. So hey, if someone's ever told you that you mumble or shout things out when you're asleep, you're part of a very, very small group that keeps the chat going even when you're totally knocked out. Okay, time to zoom out a bit. We've looked inside ourselves, now let's look at the world around us. We're about to find out that some of the most normal, everyday things have some, well, pretty weird backstories and stats. So, what you're eating might have a little something extra in it. And I hope you're not in the middle of a meal right now because this next one is a little crunchy. Let's just say your diet might be a bit more protein-packed than you think. Yep, turns out the average American eats about 2 pounds of insects or insect parts every single year, without even knowing it. That's nearly a whole kilogram. They're usually just ground up in stuff like flour or spices. So, a little extra flavor maybe? All right, let's try to forget about that last one with a little history mystery. Look at a tablecloth. Seems simple enough, right? We all know what it's for today. But what it was originally used for was a lot more hands-on. Any ideas?
So the answer is it was basically a giant shared napkin. Seriously, before everyone had their own little napkin, the tablecloth was fair game for guests to wipe their greasy hands and faces on after a big meal. Yeah, a little different than how we do things now.
All right, for this last section, we're going to put all of this together. We're bringing it all back to you. Because when you take all these little daily numbers and add them up over a whole lifetime, the totals are absolutely staggering. Three times. What's that about? Well, that's how many times the average person will walk the distance of circling the entire planet in their lifetime. And that's not from like running marathons. That's just from your normal everyday walking to the car, around the office, through the grocery store. Just wow. So let's put it all together. Over a lifetime, you'll blink over 600 million times. You'll spend 6 full years lost in your own dreams. And you'll walk around the earth 3 times over. Your seemingly normal life is actually a story told in absolutely epic numbers. And all of this really just leaves us with one last question to chew on. Everything we've talked about, these are just the averages. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the hidden numbers that define your unique life? What's the secret stat that tells your story?